And it's now my great pleasure to introduce our last speaker. Our last speaker is the founder and co-director of Spark, Daria Mochly-Rosen. Daria is the George D. Smith Professor in Translational Medicine and a professor in the Department of Chemical and Systems Biology. Importantly, Daria runs a multidisciplinary lab that includes chemists, biochemists, biologists, physician scientists, and has made some really impactful basic research discoveries that she has proceeded to translate into treatments for patients. She has a particular interest in mitochondrial biology and pathology, has published over 230 papers, 30 patents, 3 companies founded by Daria. We met when she founded Kai Pharmaceuticals, I think on the day it was funded. Steve Sullivan made the introduction. And Daria has since found Aldea, now Aviv Therapeutics, and more recently has founded a company called Mitochonics to target mitochondrial dysfunction and associated with neurodegenerative diseases. Daria had previously been Senior Associate Dean of Research and Chair of the department, and has a whole bunch of accomplishments. To cut to the chase, she holds an NIH Merit Award, and much to her dismay, had to give one of those talks at TED-Med this past year. I still don't think she's been able to bring herself to watch it, although I'm sure it's phenomenal. I haven't watched it either. I hear Daria speak all the time. So personally, on a personal level, which is what I really want to talk about, Daria is a brilliant scientist. And those of you who know her know that she's incredibly charismatic, could get any of us to follow her anywhere, and she has an unnatural amount of energy, which is very hard for those of us who work with her. Not only is she a fantastic scientist, but she cares very deeply about advancing her work to make a difference, to help patients in need. Daria and I are sort of cut from the same cloth. Our industry advisors often call us hippies because we don't care whether our drug development projects make money or not, so long as they help patients. But I think that's a great ethos to have. I can't thank her enough for asking me to join her in this endeavor. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. I love coming to work every morning, really have a passion for what we're doing. You know, as a physician, have had many patients who I could not help, where we did not have treatments for. And as I'm getting older, I've been losing friends to many of these diseases as well, you know. And a lot of these projects, we actually have treatments in development, some of them getting pretty close to the finish line, things like graft versus host disease and glioblastoma multiforme. We have some excellent projects for dementia. My mom passed away from this 2 days ago. So really have a passion for what we're doing. The other thing that's really cool about Spark is we learn every day. We're always learning from our colleagues at Stanford and from our advisors. And that is just phenomenal. So basically, I want to tell Daria that I could not have a better co-director or colleague or friend, and I will invite her to come up to the podium.
So I'm between you and dessert, and I have to say that I need to take a few breaths to relax a bit. First, Kevin. You have to choose your partners carefully, always. I was particularly lucky to choose you as my partner in crime for working on this program. Dean Minor correctly said that you are a really unusual person in how you are caring for patients, how you care for students, how you care about learning, how you are doing anything that you could do to help people that you know their friends is sick, and how you are answering your phone at any time, how you're working tirelessly, and importantly, as you said, that you are also a hippie. We are both hippies. And I took it as a compliment. It was Robert Booth, I think, that said that we are hippies, and I take it as the biggest compliment. I also think that when we are hippies, it's easier to do what we are trying to do here, which is to motivate a lot of people to do good for the good of the public, without thinking about the potential for profit, but just thinking about what we're trying to do, which is new treatments for patients in need, harnessing the knowledge that we gain through the support of the public, through the taxpayers, and then pay back by translating into something that impact them and help them be healthy. I think that the opportunity of working with you, your calmness relative to my agitation, and importantly, the fact that you are providing such complementary skills. I'm a protein chemist. What do I know about medicine? You also have an MBA. That's very important as well in this case. So I think I'm particularly lucky in having you as a partner. Kevin has done, actually being the last speaker makes it a bit easier because a lot of the things have been said. So I think I'm going to skip most of my talk because you already heard it, and I will just try to spend a few minutes on some important points. First of all, again, my idea was already stolen. I wanted all the Spark advisors to stand and to be recognized, but also for all of you to see how many Spark advisors we have. You know, we started with very few. We now sometimes have to turn people down because we can't fit them in the room. We can also not pay for the bill here, for the food bill, because it's so many people are coming. But really, seriously, I think that without the advisors, this program would not be existing. So we discussed today 3 questions. The first one that was mentioned again and again is how can we explain this very high rate of success of the program? And I think that we now learned again and again that there are 2 components to making it the success that it is. The first component is the amazing science that is being done here. We have amazing scientists who are really motivated to do good with the research. Yeah, a paper in Science or Nature is really, really nice, but it gives you a high for one day. Whereas working on something that eventually impact patients, this is a high for life. The second group of people that makes it possible is, of course, all these advisors. You guys come, contribute your time, your energy, your know-how. You're doing it without being paid for a lousy dinner. You're keeping it confidentially, and you come again and again and again. You help not only during the Wednesday night, but also in special meetings when we need more advice. You outreach our Sparkees. You are making contacts way beyond what you would have done to a colleague at work because you care. And that inspiration for caring comes a lot from this guy, from Kevin. This inspiration of doing good for the sake of good. So this program is successful because we have those 2 elements. There are other tricks for why it is successful and for the new Spark program directors, and we're going to talk about it more tomorrow. The second question that we need to answer, and actually was discussed today, is why is academia doing translational research? What do we do that is different that academia, that industry will not do? And you've heard about that quite a lot already. Since our goal is one, the patient and the family, the patient society, we really don't take into consideration profit-making, economical impact. And also, we in academia, we are uninformed about what's difficult or what's not possible. We are just going forward because we want to try. And we like to take a path that nobody else has walked in before. If you are working for those goals to take care of patients, then you have to find solutions that are faster, cheaper, better, different from what industry will do. And so our program is unique in that 2/3 of the projects that we are working on are typically not focused for industry work. Child and maternal health. You've heard about child tumor. Think about doing clinical trial in children. The barrier for pharma is so high that they are really avoiding this clinical indication altogether. Well, we move right in. Not because we know that it's difficult, but because we are clueless, but are really focusing on the patient. And our Spark advisor are helping us on. We also take global health challenges. Global health challenges are oftentimes left on the table because who is going to pay for the drug efforts the drug companies are going to put in order to make treatments for those diseases? And way before it became popular for some now new ways that the FDA is treating it, we have tackled rare disease, really, really rare diseases. Even in one case, a disease that affects about 10 children in the world. The reason why we do it again, because it matters. And taking a drug that can impact even 10 children, that will be something that will make us feel like it was worth our time. So the way we do it is we have to have a shortcut. And the shortcut was already mentioned by Andrew Law. A lot of it is already available. Many of the drugs that are available, we have a lot of experience using them in patients, can be used for new indications. They are maybe still on patent, they may be off patent, they may be approved only in one country and not in another. But the fact that we have human experience with this compound shaves years of development in the drug development process and shaves many, many dollars from this process as well. So that's what we do. The reason why academia should do translational research, because paper in Science and Nature is just not enough. And the funds that we get from the public to do this research needs to come back to the public, for example, through this translational research effort. And the third question that you probably wonder is, where are we going? What's the future? So Dean Minor kind of challenged us to do much better. I have to say that I don't want to increase the success rate beyond 62%. I actually learned from one of my economist friends that a success rate of 50% is actually a failure, because it means that we should have taken many more programs in, and of course we are beyond our capacity. But we can inspire to other things. We were really touched by the fact that quite a few universities contact us to start their own Spark program. And we are putting a lot of energy in helping other programs start it. And we have many guests now from 24 or so universities that have been starting a program or are thinking of starting one. So in Spark at Stanford, we started to think about what is the opportunity that is given to us by creating this international Spark program, this global Spark program. And what occurred to us is that something that we hear oftentimes from our own Sparkees. The Sparkees tell us that once they go through this program, they are changed. They are now looking at all problems and all projects that they are working on with new eyes. And that they are now better equipped to think about the problem backward, the way Ben McGrath talked about it in the morning. Think about how to come with the best solution, the fastest way, focusing on the goal, which is a patient, patient, patient. So now imagine that we have scientists like that, not only at Stanford, but also in Tokyo and in Kyoto and in Taipei and in Berlin and in Finland and so on and so forth. We can be connected through our directors. And then we can activate this network of scientists, as we call it now, inspired by Nancy Federspiel, Scientists Without Borders, to address global needs as they arise. Importantly, when we address these needs by activating scientists in various universities, we are activating scientists that are not going to produce these fancy schmancy solutions that we scientists in academia tend to take, but actually come up with practical, simple, best solutions that they come up with. We have a number of examples that where we try to use our network of scientists to address unmet clinical need, and we are going to discuss tomorrow some more of those opportunities. I want to tell you just one. You all heard about the Zika virus and the terrible birth defects that it causes, especially in Brazil. It was January when we saw it in the newspaper in the US. We have Spark in Brazil. Actually, it's called supernova because it's all stronger in Brazil and with more energy. So we contact Spark Brazil, and we ask them if they want help in preparing new vaccine for Zika virus. Now, why did we call them? Has to do with the fact that we had at Stanford an expert in protein vaccine. Where are you? Jim Schwartz, right there, who had years of industry experience and has been in the department in chemical engineering now for many years as well. He's one of our Sparkees. Let me pause for a second. One of the most humbling things is we have Sparkees like Stan, like Jim, people who have years of experience and they come to us to get help. This is really very humbling experience. Anyhow, so James Schwartz is working on vaccine together with one of his students, Julie Fogarty, but for another virus. So we thought that perhaps we can motivate them to work also on developing Zika virus vaccine. So when I called Julio Ferreira, director of Spark in Brazil, I asked him if he wants help for the preparation of new vaccine, knowing that perhaps I have some partners in crime, but without asking them about it before. There is always a trick to shaming you to do things, right? So Julio introduced me to another Ferreira, not relation, Luis Ferreira, and he is a guy who is working on preparing vaccine for inactivated Zika virus. He's working with the Pasteur Institute and has made some progress. But we all know that inactivated virus vaccine have a life. They usually are not as effective as working with a protein vaccine. So when Julio Ferreira and Luis Ferreira heard that we are willing to help with that, they said, of course, make the introduction. So we made the introduction to Jim to Jim Schwartz's lab, and we immediately allocated funds for it. Within 45 days from the first phone calls, its two groups have started to work together and had made a terrific progress in making a vaccine against this very devastating virus. What this example provides you is how we can act much faster than any other organization that actually responded to Zika virus so far. In fact, we responded, the healthcare in the US is very proud of the fact. The CDC responded to the problem with Zika virus very fast, so did the WHO, but they were way slower than us. The NIH announced that they are going to provide funds for that. They are going to do it now. They haven't yet distributed the money. By having this network of directors of Spark, they know that there are scientists in their institution that can make the connection, is an opportunity to create this network of people that will respond to problems as they arise. So this is the next generation Spark. In addition to working on problems in our own institution and developing early ideas of academicians, to translate them into drugs and treatments that benefit our society, we should think about the global problems. Infectious disease is one. There are many other threats that we are facing as a global society. And by activating this network of scientists without border, we can be bigger, we can be better, we can do a lot. And so this is our next aspiration. Before I almost fell from the podium. Before I close, I just want to thank again everybody that makes this program such a success. The money is essential, but the work that our advisors are doing is without which nothing would have happened. And the scientists at Stanford that come in, leaving their ego out the door, trusting that we will help them grow their baby, that is by itself an amazing gift. And it's through this work together that we can actually benefit society, but also change the way we view how drug development should be done, perhaps even change the process of the drug development in industry. I'm so grateful to all of you. I'm so grateful for this day. It has been an amazing celebration, and I feel fortunate. I'm counting on your continual support. So thank you, and it's time for dessert.
The preceding program is copyrighted by the Board of Trustees of the Leland Stanford Junior University. Please visit us at med.stanford.edu.